I'm here in Jarrold's of Norwich and I'm so excited to meet David Mitchell, best-selling author, who is here to talk about his 6th novel, The Bone Clocks. David, how are you?
I'm really well, thank you. I've just come from Ely and had a nice snooze on the train, so I'm feeling refreshed.
You've had a whirlwind couple of weeks.
Yeah, I've had a whirlwind couple of weeks, and there's another sort of, the whirlwind will continue for about 3 weeks, but that's the name of the game these days.
Indeed.
So you do it with a cheer, with a smile on your face, and meeting you and being on mustard, it just gives me that zing that I just needed to get me through the evening.
You are a well-travelled man, as people who know you and who know your books will realise. Why is it so important for you to bring this multiculturalism into your novels?
In my 20s, I did travel quite a bit and got experience from different countries because I was living there, and I had this insatiable wanderlust, and I didn't have the kids and the family and the job at that point to prevent that. So I did travel a lot, and whoever you are, what you experience in your 20s sort of goes on what I think of this sort of imaginative compost heap. Ideas, plots, characters, scenarios, scenes, locations, you draw from them in your later life when perhaps you're a little less able just to jet off as you might once have been.
Because you said on the BBC that actually you have characters written long before they're on the page. In your head, you've always got a stock of characters that you draw from, almost wanting to find a place for them in each book rather than constructing the book around them.
It's partly the case. It's also partly characters I have actually written tend to sometimes reappear and walk into a new book. I think of them as out-of-work actors who want more work from me, and if I can find them a good role, then if they will bring something to the book that will give it a flavour that I like, then I'll give them a job.
Do you think you could construct any characters from Norfolk? This is what I'd like to see, David.
I'll do my best for the next book, Beth. You never know. Actually, yeah. Does Ely count as Norfolk? Ely counts as Norfolk.
Not quite, but you know, it's almost there.
Kind of.
Yeah, you're getting
borderline.
there. Come a bit further east.
Okay. Just walking around there earlier today. Beautiful place.
Stunning.
And I am thinking I need a place for a character in my next book to come from. And
we would love that.
That would be great. Well, then, can't quite promise, but I pledge,
okay.
as the politicians say. Isn't that a word
Very
great?
good. Diplomatic,
I pledge to put a character in.
And do any of your characters get the chop? Do you always end with the ones that you started with, or can that sometimes happen and surprise you mid-writing process?
Sections get the chop, actually. Spent the first year or so with this one going wrong. But that's kind of normal, so I'm no longer worried, really. A quote from Picasso, it's first I find something, then I go looking for what it is. And it's rather like that. I spend a sort of year kind of going wrong, barking up the wrong tree, chasing wild sheep and red herrings. And you think you're building the edifice, but then it turns into this rather manky scaffolding. But that's okay, you need the scaffolding to then go and build the real edifice. And that includes characters. Sometimes I may succumb to a desire to kill them unexpectedly. And sometimes I may let them live when I'm speaking like Moriarty from the Sherlock remakes, aren't I?
Yeah, the power, absolutely.
Make them burn.
You mentioned Cloud Atlas, and I think a lot of people who hadn't already known the book know it because of the film. So let's talk about Hollywood. How did you feel about that adaptation?
I was happy with the film. I was really happy with it. It was a Marmite film, quite divisive. Some critics threw hydrochloric acid at it, and others threw flowers at it. I would have thrown flowers.
Me too.
Nothing wrong with her. Of course, it's subjective. People have different tastes. But of course, the book had to be disassembled and reassembled in the form of a film, like Lego. But as a film, I felt it worked and was sharp and original and sweeping. I loved it. I met the directors, and within about 15 minutes, I trusted them. And actually, I was never anxious from that point on. I trusted them to make a better fist of it than I could have done. I saw how hard they worked. They're all good writers. I didn't need my help with the script. I'm too selfish. I just want to give. I love the novel. That's my form. Screenwriting is a somewhat different form. Some people like David Nichols can really do both, the one-day guy, but I can't. I'm not that multi-talented. So I stick with novels, and I'm really happy to let them get on with it. And no one forces you to give it up. No one forces you to sign the option paper. It's a transaction, and I feel unless you're going to give the money back, don't grouch too much. If it's not, it's your choice.
Yeah.
So,
did you enjoy the idea to cast a small cast, a very high-profile cast, and then have them each play 3 characters minimum? I think
that's what I mean. I'd never have thought of that, but what a beautiful idea to underpin the kind of reincarnation motif that it's not there too deeply in the books. You can't really do it in books because you don't have actors, but just using the actor's faces. It's an example of how they used film, that format, to do what only film can do.
And makeup. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was
incredible.
Yeah. I remember Hugh Grant saying that the longest he'd ever spent in makeup until Cloud Atlas was about 15 minutes, just sort of arranging a hair here. But in that, he was in there for about 3.5 hours to be turned into a meat-devouring cannibal.
And is the publicity part, is that the fun bit for you, or is it the nerve-wracking bit because you're giving your baby up to have people critique it?
It's both of those. It's fun to meet readers because you do forget they actually exist when you're working for 4 years on a book. Nerve-wracking, probably years ago when I was new.
Okay.
I would have been really nerve-wracked.
Yeah.
I've been wrecked on the rocks of the nerve-wracking publicity tour. However, it's not really nerve-wracking now. It does get a bit fatiguing, to be honest,
sure.
just to be away from your family, and you never quite, however nice the hotel is, you don't quite sleep as well as you do in your own bed with your own kind of kids hanging around and whatever.
Absolutely.
So, but I'm also a lucky guy, and this also enables me to get on with earning a living, doing something I love doing, which is writing. So if you can find out what you are suited for and what your what talent you have is sort of equips you for, and do that in life. If life has a secret to happiness, it's that.
Wow, excellent motto.
I'm going a bit heavy for a Thursday evening.
I know, this is good. Well, I could talk for absolutely ages. I cannot wait to read the book, and I'm so excited.
I really hope you enjoy it.
I'm sure I will.
Thanks for having me on Mustard TV, and thanks to the Globe.
With our Globe, you take it. I'm sure they won't mind. It's fine. It was lovely to meet you.
Hey.
David Mitchell, everybody.
Thank you very much.